Before I even start this video, anytime you guys see me stopped in traffic, I always get comments about, why don't I lane split, you pussy? And usually they're from subscribers that are from a different country or something. They don't understand this. I will say it again for the 100th time. There is only one state where it's legal to lane split in the United States, and that is California. And I do not live there. What's going on, YouTubers? It's your buddy Piston Rods. Thanks for tuning in again. I am actually doing a video from one of the questions that you guys asked in my comments of my last video. I was talking about 10 things I hate about bikes, I believe. So I do read your comments. Most of the time I will respond to you. But the subscriber that asked me a question was Linda Nguyen. And I hope I'm pronouncing that name right, Nguyen. I'm Asian. I'm not Vietnamese, but I feel like I should be able to pronounce every Asian name. But anyways, her question was, how do I compare riding here that I live in Georgia? This is freaking sticks that you can see right here, versus when I was living around in the Chicago area. So, I mean, let me go ahead and just give you guys some footage of what it was like riding around there. You guys can see the streets versus what it's kind of like riding around here. No, Merc, you hang out right there. Little hooch. So I have to give somewhat of a disclaimer that's going on here. Right now I'm riding around in rush hour traffic. So that's a big difference versus normally riding around on the road here in Georgia versus, well, anywhere that you live, really. Come on, come on, come on. So there are some similarities in that, I mean, there's urban sprawl everywhere when you're living in Chicago. There's urban sprawl here where I'm living here in Georgia, in Savannah. It's not like a really, really small town. I don't know what it would be considered, like a suburban type of medium-sized town, I guess. I don't know. It's not like like a convenience store, gas station, diner type of town. There's stuff here. This is garbage, but to give you a comparison of what's happening right now, this rush hour that I go through in Savannah is basically the same as any other traffic that you go through in any urban area around Chicago on any given time of the day, on any given day of the week. It's not to rush hour. This is like just what traffic is like. I mean, I have hours and hours of footage that I used to cut out for you guys when I was moto vlogging around there. Like, this is normal. Like, you can see this at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. It's just normal traffic there. But here is considered rush hour. Something else I want to mention, the route that I take, this is different for everyone, but this is my philosophy on routes that I take when I actually ride a bike. I try to avoid, and this sounds pretty basic, but I try to avoid situations where there's a lot of traffic where people don't have, I guess, the best reaction times, or I try to minimize how hurt I'm gonna be when someone fucks shit up and actually runs into me. So a big thing that I am always concerned about is being rear-ended. Less than even when a car cuts in front of me. Sometimes I can tell when a car is gonna cut in front of me or whatever, but being rear-ended is a little bit, it's a little bit different. So, for example, like I could be on the interstate. It's less mileage for me to be on the interstate to get to where I'm going for the most part during whatever portion of the day. But if I get tapped or rear-ended on the interstate, it's different because there's like, oh my god, I see so many wrecks on the interstate versus driving around town that I'm fine taking this risk here of just going a slower route that's a little bit longer to avoid all that interstate madness, so to speak, during rush hour. Any other time, I'll take the interstate. I think it's perfectly fine and safe to actually do. But I think it's the idea, of, if I'm here and I'm driving through this junk at like 20 or 30 miles per hour, whatever, someone runs into me or cuts in front of me and I fall off my bike, I'm most likely going to live. Like, I'm not gonna be in the hospital forever for like 6 months, or I'm probably not gonna be dead. If I'm on the interstate, and you guys know this when you drive the interstate and there's a lot of cars, if you're going like 80 miles per hour and then all of a sudden you come around a turn or you come around a crest and you have to brake, right? And the guy behind you is like not paying attention and they hit you going like 70 miles per hour, I'm gonna be dead. So that's how I kind of look at it as. I'm saying, like, anytime when I'm on the interstate, when there's not a lot of people, that's not a big deal. But when the cars are packed and you can't really get through them, I'd much rather take these little roads. So where was I this morning? By the magic of YouTube, it is now evening time, and you can see that the roads, even though it's evening time, are still not that bad. But this is kind of like the downtown section, so a little bit different than what I was riding in. And what I'm gonna say is what I've been saying, is that slower speeds, like riding through this shit, comparatively, I do not feel as nervous as on a, I don't know, crowded highway, so to speak, because I feel like if I'm gonna get hit here, I'm gonna survive. Do I find the drivers here in town any better than what I found there in Chicago? No, I would say that they're actually a little bit worse because, like I was saying, they get in lots of accidents. Like, I always see them running into each other, and I have no idea why. It's a lot more frequent than what I saw in Chicago, and you would not imagine that because there are a lot less cars here than there are there. But that's just what happens, man. I guess I just don't understand why they're all running into each other. I really, really don't. That perplexes me. But those are only my observations, of course. I mean, if you looked up the stats, I'm sure it'd be different. But something I will say that I do, at least as a practice, is whenever I'm going somewhere new, it doesn't matter if I've been in the town for a while, when I'm going somewhere new and I'm not familiar with that road, usually I'll go there with my car, and that's if like I'm going to be frequenting it a lot. So like a commute here, like I'll take the car for the first couple days just to find out like what's the best traffic route. If I get lost, it's no big deal. What the patterns are, how people are driving, where is it prone to accidents, where I can park my bike, all that kind of stuff. I kind of like scout it with my car first before I do it on my bike, because it's a lot harder to like make like quick U-turns and shit and slam on the brakes if you go the wrong way and all that other kind of stuff. Like, I'm not gonna get as hurt if I get in a car wreck and if I get in a bike wreck because I didn't know what I was doing. So that is it, guys. That's my motovlog about what it's like riding around in a large city versus one that's like considerably smaller. My take on it. Go ahead and post some questions down below if you have any for me, or your experiences when you've moved into a different place and how your traffic is and all that other kind of shit when you start riding on a bike. But until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.